My name is Teresa Lockwood. I reside in Vineland, New Jersey, and so I'm speaking more on my political views because my political views have been slandered throughout the years, mainly by the Vineland, New Jersey Police Department. The um, they swore in two cult abusers who were persecuting me, committing hate crimes against me, because I basically spoke knowledge that was against their cult abuse. Okay, and I would not believe in their false leaders. Okay, who were frauds. Okay, um, so the thing is that that would be the Violent Nazarene Ramoth Church of William Clay and Eddie Haney, and that of Calvary Chapel Vineland of the Apollos, Anthony and Frank Apollo. I've also been persecuted and hate crimes committed against me by a cult police officer who is of the fraudulent Pentecostals, who basically claims that they don't believe in law. Yes, a police officer. Just mind you, the one of the Ramoth Church of William Clay was an ex cop, by the way. I've encountered so many um, police officers throughout the years who have no realistic concept of law, of justice, and do not care. Okay? We have seen that throughout society. Now, the thing is, because I make claims like that, I am prejudicedly and bigotedly attacked as that of a leftist. No, I am not that of the leftists. I do not support democracy of Democrats and nothing they stand for. I never did. Okay? My political views have been the same ever since I educated myself on these issues, and actually had to look up with a lot of things that were said throughout my childhood, which I didn't even understand. So, I'm just recapping a little bit that I had to research all these things. I grew up on the whole separation of church and state. I reject that. It's an illusion. It's ridiculous. The way I look at it, as it's either, that doesn't make any sense. It's either you're going to stand on the truth and what is just, true, and right, or you're not. All right? You're in government or whatever. If you're just, true, and right, you are of the Christian church. It doesn't even matter if you claim to be atheist. And just because you claim to be just, true, and right, or claim to be of God, or believer in God, or Christian, or whatever the case may be, does not mean that you are. Okay? So, simply, I have examined the Constitution. I broke it down, the Declaration of Independence, and many things of that nature, and completely Christian, by the way, supporting all rights, justice for all. And so the thing is that I'm in agreement to what is the understanding of the Republican government. And like I've said, the Republican government is for the people, by the people. Okay. And basically all people, rights protected under the law, and all people are under the law, whatever. But, of course, there's some people who don't think they should be, from basically people of governing officials to basically so-called criminals. We all know that not all criminals are basically actual criminals. Since I actually am being persecuted and slandered by the Vineland, New Jersey Police Department, the cult-ridden Vineland, New Jersey Police Department, who forced me, by the way, by their Internal Affairs Lieutenant Landy, that they are of democracy, Democrat democracy. And yes, they did, and tell me how, like, I have no rights. And, well, no, their specific words were, "I'm not taking any of your complaints." They're worried about their friends. So, yeah, and retaliation, by the way. So, not only that, mostly, they think they have friends. So, yeah, they actually mocked me on my friend's status, if you will. I try to insult me. It's really sad. They actually believe that people are lying to them are actually their friends. So, I don't know. Anyway, so I stand in that of unbiased justice, no respecter of persons. Of course, somebody's trying to mimic that from me, pretend they're not my persecutor. Sworn into the Vineland Police Department, trying to pretend that they're not respecter of persons, which actually their slanders and attacks basically exposed that they were, as in they basically tried to claim with the fraudulent Pentecostals that they are to side with these police or whatever, and biasly have favored police. And their crimes they have committed against me. So they're very bigoted, by the way, and in many, many ways, even racist. So that would be Calvary Chapel or Ramoth Church or what have you. So I don't know the other views. They're basically the Ramoth, Vineland Nazarene Ramoth Church who persecuted me because I disagreed and had difference of a view. Of course, that's because I had a view. um, but the thing is, they were very, very abusive to me. But they're portraying this anti-theist, atheist, left-wing propaganda agenda, democratic democracy. So, no, you cannot be Christian and actually support these immoral, unlawful, oppressive, unjust, just corruption. Um, Look, I'm not getting you get into that, but the thing is the other one claims, I guess he has implied by certain statements, never a clear statement what he claims to believe in, but has claimed or indicated that he's supposedly this Republican right-wing supporter, even though he's basically practicing the false ideologies of the democracy of Democrats. So, which there's a lot of those Republicans that have that false ideology. Now, this is the thing. The Republican government of the United States, which was structured under the Constitution, right, and the rights for all, excuse me, is Christian, and the Constitution is Christian. Now, the thing is, Calvary Chapel tried to attack the Constitution, then cover it up, then sit there and try to play on the preamble, which is supposed to be the main idea of structure for the Constitution and amendments, right? So they're portraying this false peace of tranquility. It was just mentioned by the Ramoth church who was persecuting me. Yeah, first of all, they're not even, obviously, since they're persecuting me, they're not even a supporter of anybody's constitutional rights. Because they actually have all these rules that violates people's rights and strips you out of your not only constitutional rights, but God-given Christian rights. So the thing is that political views. Look, so this guy Ramoth of Vineland Nazarene Ramoth Church of William Clay made a statement and said, "I didn't know there was no such thing as an honest politician." First of all, this is the thing. Why there's confusion in regards to what is political and what is a politician. Now, a politician is considered to be the person who basically has government titles. Okay? Excuse me, I have an eye itch. Okay. Don't know what that happens every time I get on the video. So I'm looking to see if there's like maybe a dust flew off somewhere. There's this, okay, whatever. Yeah, in response to basically using certain words and my political beliefs about that or whatever. And the thing is, it's like it was a red herring, and I don't know what the point was. I believe in laws of justice, and I believe in people's right to protest against any unjust laws or whatever. Of course, what people believe is just and unjust or whatever is basically, well, you can see the confusion around society and humanity. Well, I mean, there's difference of opinions. So, no, I'm not speaking by opinion, by the way. So, The thing is, yeah, so I'm being attacked by this atheist who I basically just, well, showed his error and his ignorance and his false knowledge. And it's disturbing how he kept violating my constitutional rights. The Vineland, New Jersey Police Department has no respect for people's constitutional rights whatsoever. And they have been persecuting me for 20 years. So they are, a majority of them are misogynists. And if there's women, they actually use women, and play head games with them. And they're like, at a low level of intelligence where they're like, ah, and just like become a puppet of their deception or whatever. So I actually experienced that, encountering some of the women encountering me that was basically saying insulting things. And some of it is basically just false ideologies that are basically just like a common stream of, the what is taught or whatever commonly, that is basically just a false erroneous just false ideologies. And so I basically do sometimes consider that, they don't know any better, they're ignorant. But I've also noticed that they were told lies to sit there and counter me with these things, which may appear to be nice, kind, and sweet or whatever, but it's very insulting or whatever. So and I basically, they're basically used as puppets. So the thing is that, yeah, so, in regards to, yeah, political beliefs, look, politicians. Democrats are not politicians. Democrats are basically a terrorist group that basically broke off from basically supporting constitutional government and rights and for all because of their racism. Okay? So, yeah, a party can be reconformed. But the thing is that, this whole system that is happening is unconstitutional. There's no such thing that you're gonna sit there and you're going to take your democracy and take over the nation. Now, yes, it obviously has. Obama was a Democrat, and basically there has been nothing but like chaos. Okay, through that, yes, Trump is a disaster. Trump is a very funny, interesting thing that happened to our country, by the way, and him being president or of the presidency. I just want to let you know that other people are doing the work. It's not I'm sorry, it's not Donald Trump. So, yeah, he's just echoing what he's told. So, to sit there and tell these people things or whatever. But he's been like an interesting stumper bumper, and basically in his stupidity has been a wonderful insult to basically the leftists who can't even come above that low level of stupidity. I'm almost seen as a stupidity as almost like a genius. No, I do not think Trump is smart or intelligent or a genius. Um, so, but a little bit more intelligent than leftists. So, yeah, the Trumper stumper bumper, that is a term that I created myself because I just seen everything just stop because of his stubbornness. And yes, his idiocy. I was just like, amazing. So, um, interesting things that I have viewed. So when they come against him, it was more like, okay, well, I'm gonna move on from that. So yeah, I'm not a supporter of a candidate. I am a supporter of a purpose and a strength of a nation. And I really believe that the Constitution and the framework of that of government that has been built upon to strengthen this country is based on Christian principles of law, so including the Constitution. Now, the thing is I get attacked from both sides, and the thing is, it's because where I stand in my beliefs, and the thing is, it happens to a lot of different societies, and it's always happened And it's not even that I'm trying to be different. That was a false claim that was actually made against me. I'm actually just rooted in a concrete knowledge that does not move, not taught or influenced by any outside resources in regards to people around me or anything. I just stayed in opposition to everyone because of what I believe. It just happens that way. Okay. There's a lot of people who just, I've actually spoken against them where they would sit there and just speak something just to be in opposition to somebody. I do not do that. I actually enlighten people with concrete knowledge. Their ideologies are false. Okay. So, I will not conform it. I mean, I cannot conform to just ignorance when I know the knowledge that I have that is basically, well, a blessing and anointing by God. So this is where I am standing on the word of true knowledge. Um, that is the strength of government. So I am actually being persecuted. I'm telling you how that works. Let's put it this way. People do not realize that in every situation they cannot see me because they are blinded by their own ignorance. People, I think some people have gotten a glimpse because I've had people actually steal original works and knowledge from me, yet they are attacking me and slandering me and trying to bury me by what I believe because they, well, they stole my treasure. I mean, I freely gave them my treasure, but they wanted to sit there and bury it and greedily take everything for themselves and slander me, so everybody doesn't know or whatever. Because, well, one, mainly because I'm a woman. Okay, I just heard a noise. I don't know if it's a cat. Ken's right there. And that's what happens. And the thing is, I've encountered this experience. um I wasn't fully aware what was happening, but I wound up happening in this Nazarene Ramoth church. But I didn't have the full experiences because I wasn't encountering so many people. I didn't know about atheists and all these other denominations. I grew up Baptist. I never conformed to any of their um false teachings, and whatever they did and things like that. I have stood in opposition based on a strong foundation of knowledge that actually was just within me, that I did not get from anybody else. Okay. So what happened was, as I was persecuted by these evil false Christians, this cult, and out of this Ramus church, and I was being persecuted by police because of my witness against their injustices. I wound up encountering people online, from different groups, like Muslims and atheists and different denominations. And on top of that, I started wanting to explore and learn about different denominations. About my town, I went to 30 churches. Okay, so the thing is that there was something that was happening, and I have not moved from my beliefs. They have tried to manipulate situations, make up what I believe. They've hacked even my computer, altered videos, altered posts, and did all these things. I've consistently stood in the knowledge that I was anointed by since a child that was against the evils around me. So the thing is that what happened was, it was very interesting when I was actually being cyberbullied and psychologically just tortured by mainly, yeah, it was actually first mainly by church groups online. Um, and atheists, and then later, a little later, just Muslims or whatever. And what was happening, I was seeing this thing, not only that I was being attacked for because of my insightful views that actually came against their a lot of the trending of their false doctrines and things like that, which a lot of them I was familiar with. A lot of them, I mean, it's just so way out there. But I noticed something, not only that I was in conflict with them. This is the strange thing that's happened, that when I was encountering that, I noticed that what I gave was actually a benefit for them, because when I was teaching one group, what happened was, it was actually a rightful defense for them against another group that they were opposing. Okay. while they were that my what I opposed was beneficial to that group was also beneficial to the other group, and what I was opposing and they were opposing each other could have been in truth that basically had a rightful defense against the other group. And this is something that was just happening. Now, it was something that I was not creating. Okay, it was just I stood in this view that what I was seeing was actually just profoundly amazing, right? So the thing is that I didn't realize. So the thing is, I wound up actually, um, though claimed atheists were coming against me because I claimed to be Christian, and I did not have these other people's views who claimed to be Christian. I noticed a couple of people recognized and responded slightly because they were okay because I was actually going against these churches claiming to be Christian and actually had a rightful defense that they did not have. It just happened. And I'm only standing in the truth of this true knowledge. So this is how it was happening. So what happened was, while that was happening, there was, they were like refuting. And of course, I was teaching consistently like Christian knowledge, the original true Christian knowledge, right? So while I was encountering them, it was just like they were attacking me because they wanted to bury me because I had this truth. But there was some that was just like, okay, but she's claiming to be Christian and speaking against and exposing them as being false. So this happened with a couple of people who claimed to be Christian, who was hearing me. Some very, like, devilishly, like, I shouldn't use that word because somebody else just used that word after I use that word, but evilishly, it won't matter if I change it. But they, like, everybody was opposing each other, but the truth I had could be used. So some stole things from me. And what was happening is atheists started using them against these churchians. Some of them. Okay? Some of them. And then these churchians, they were taking from me and using it against the Muslims and the atheists. But I was a defender also. Not only, they didn't realize that those who I was opposed to, who claimed to be Christian, I was opposed to. I'm a defender of Christianity, but that was against the atheist. There was a defense for the atheist. I came in when they actually, the churchians came against the atheists in their falsehood. I actually stood in defense for atheists in some grounds that are like concrete because it was a wrongful judgment where there's nothing that could be rightly judged against a stance, giving understanding not only to atheists but also to the churchians. And the same thing happened with Muslims. And when Muslims came in conflict with the atheists, and the Muslims in the came in conflict with the churchians claiming to be Christian, they would use false Christianity. So I would sit there and teach them, and basically they would use Christianity against the false Christian false ideologies. So what happened was when somebody, the atheist, or the people claiming to be Christian that I didn't believe were Christian, that were teaching very common false doctrines that were falsely claimed to be Christian, what happened is that I wound up defending Muslims for false claims by the churchians who claimed to be Christian against the Muslims. So I wound up defending the Muslims because of my insight and my knowledge of what I learned, because I take the time to learn about people that I'm in opposition to. Okay? So, that's what happened. So, in regards to politically, now, I believe it's all politics. Now, it's not an unknown claim, and I've heard it before. I don't even know it came first or what. I don't even think it matters in regards to. I've heard it like once or twice before. So I'm not going to sit there and claim I came up with it. I just don't know if, I could have been like somebody who realized this and it was already realized or whatever. So I'm not going to say like, I came to this, well, I did come to this conclusion. But the reality is there's politics in everything. It's a reality. Okay, and it's not an unknown thing, and it wasn't unknown before me. Yeah, unknown. Did I say that right? Unknown before me. I've encountered a police officer before in the Vineland, New Jersey Police Department. I was making like a political comparison, and it wasn't basically that presenting a side of a party or things like that. The thing is that um, how do I say this? He made a statement like, I don't get into politics, and my whole thing is it's just like I was using a principle, not like I said a particular so-called party, and I'm like, police is very involved in politics. Like, I didn't get it. Like, how do you sit there and say you don't get into politics? So it is true that police become police and just want to arrest people, do their job or whatever, and get a paycheck. It is true. Um, but reality is that you can't cut yourself off away from politics. You well, a lot of them don't deal with law. They actually don't even understand law. But they're supposed to, law enforcement is supposed to deal with a law and a reaction to that of governors and leaders and all these other things or whatever, and follow this a law or whatever. And I'm understanding that, like, whatever is considered authority over them, they are to be obedient to. So I'm not ignorant to that. I just want to say that in regards to what I'm countering in conflict with police and their injustices. And their false political ideologies in regards to that are unlawful. So anyway, the thing is I've encountered church people. I've encountered church people, and I've said this before, I know. Try not to repeat myself, but I'm just going to throw some points in there. It's like, well, I don't get into politics. Oh, well, Christianity isn't about politics. I didn't say that before. Jesus wasn't political. Jesus was actually, yes, he was political. Dealing with government and law, yes, that's what politics is. And basically that of the care and concerns and affairs of the people. Jesus was very political. When I basically was being attacked, if I mentioned anything that was related, and even when I wasn't very skilled in government and politics when I was younger and things like that, I would mention like some kind of a principle of a law or something, and I've had people like, I don't get into politics, like in a couple of churches, and it's like, I really wasn't understanding, but why would they say that on what I just said? I really got confused. Yeah, so every time I encounter like just like these they're ignorant. Sometimes it's not a willful ignorance. I'm sorry. Look, I don't expect people to get so involved in knowing there. I think people should know certain things, but people don't get involved in like the principles behind it. I think you should know what you're voting for and what people represent, and that could be pretty exhausting. It is a very complex became such a very complex system. It can be very overwhelming for people. I mean, people just want to deal with being a homemaker, and like that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to raise my kids the best of my ability with morals and things like that, or whatever. That's political, by the way. If you govern your household, that's political. Okay, it is. But the thing is, people want to live a simple, basic life or whatever. The nonchalant life like that though can be actually very um just a misguiding for and unproductive for your family. But the thing is I don't expect, there's some people that have just keep it simple, just know some things, to get by and to understand some certain things. And then of course there's people who basically get just deeper into things, and that's okay. That's okay. And people get involved in what is need for whatever to that person. Okay. So the thing is, basically accepting to beliefs basically based on ignorance is just dangerous. It is terrible to, I mean, even throughout police and church societies and even the government. I realize that there's so much ignorance about like a political government among the presidents and government. Like, I mean, the people who are running for presidency didn't understand the Constitution. I mean, it is original rightful interpretation that I presented, that the basis of the Constitution is the defense for your rights and the homeland and the people as a whole, the nation, to protect, serve, and defend. Okay, so the rights of all people and the protection of the quality of life. So the thing is, yeah, I'm going to go right back to basically that of tranquility in regards to it was being used and abused by Frank Capazzo, who, like I said, basically tried to mock me for teaching the Constitution, okay, and rights, which is Christian. Of course, he basically mocked it and made a statement and like, yeah, divorce is an amendment or whatever. Trying to claim that, it says amendment and all these other things and claiming it's not Christian. He couldn't even understand it. But he plucked out a word in regards of tranquility in the preamble. Actually, I should look it up. Hold on. I'll sit there. You know what? I'm going to bring this down. What? I don't know if I should bring it down this low, but, that's pretty low. I should probably just switch pillows. I had it propped up on pillows, so I'm gonna look up the first the preamble of the Constitution. Okay. My mouth is like really dry. And so he takes it out of context, and their whole thing, they were actually mocking me and attacking me because I was basically making a statement on my constitutional rights. So they basically read the preamble, and they're sitting there sit there and trying like, oh yeah, well, what about their peace or whatever? A peace that basically not to hear me, by the way. So then they need tranquility. So, they were trying to mock it and do all these things. Now these people, they're not Christian, they're very ignorant to Christianity. They basically have bullied, harassed, and threatened and slandered me for many years because I basically spoke the knowledge of God against them. They claimed I'm not Christian, and then I don't love my enemies because I gave them knowledge of God against their evils and their abuses and their persecution. So, they're perverting tranquility, but while they're persecuting me, by the way. So they always revert their mind into like they have the right to do whatever they want and oppress the people. This is the Calvary Chapel and the Vineland, New Jersey Police Department. And they want to basically, yes, this false peace. It's kind of like actually made a meme about free will or whatever, and it's like, yeah, they think they have free will to step on anybody they want and oppress anybody they want. When they sit there and want to talk about like free will, it's like when you sit there and practice a free will that takes away the free will of everybody else, you don't believe in free will. So okay, preamble, oops, of the Constitution. So, no, I don't want meaning, definition, I just want the basic. Okay, okay. Constitution, okay. Now, the thing is, they do the same thing to our Bible. They like pervert our Bible the same way, like they pervert everything. Pervert law, abuse law. These churches also abuse law, okay, of government and state or whatever, which is basically the basic of Constitution, laws of justice, and the whole system was built on biblical principles, by the way. I'm going to go on. Let's see. Okay. So it says, we the people of the United States, this is a representative of all people of the United States. So just want to let you know, this is not just for, the government and not the people. So it says, we the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, that's be domestic peace, okay, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty. Now, the thing is, hold on, let me go on. To ourselves and our prosperity, do ordain and establish the Constitution of the United States of America. Mind you, of course, the left wing, of course, adapts a name to sit there and call them like liberal, like of liberty, but they're actually a lawless liberal. Okay, so the thing is, there's, like I said, like I just mentioned before, like that false sense of freedom that oppresses, if you will. Okay, so it's kind of like, if it's lawless, there's oppression. Okay, so and prosperity, that would be productive, okay, that of life, okay. All right, so this is like the basis for the Constitution, and very important words in it, and is a common defense, okay. Promote the general welfare, okay, and to secure the blessings of liberty, okay. Uh, and that would be for all the people, which, okay, all right, I had to click on my camera. So the thing is, yeah, the Vineland Police and their chaplains are plucking out tranquility, and like, because they want to be at peace or whatever they want to do. Why they refuse people's rights and basically live in their little luxury cult or whatever, and not practice the service what they're supposed to be doing. Okay, so if they oppress me, I'm going to oppress back. All right. So the thing is that they think they have a liberty to commit crimes against me. I assure you, that's not what our Constitution and preamble say. So where there is injustices, oh, you know what? I'm going to quote Martin Luther King. Injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere. Okay. Very, very, very true statement. Oh, I'm caught here. So the thing is that I'm being persecuted. So they don't think that Constitution rights applies to anybody else. Like I said, their freedom is the freedom to oppress, and they basically have demonstrated over and over that. Oh, well, actually, they flipped it backwards. It's very strange. They claim the laws don't apply to them, but they actually put the laws on people who have not violated the laws, just like the churches who are persecuting me sit there and take out like a law of verses or whatever, and like flop it on anybody they want, that they want to sit there and just stigmatize them that they're breaking the law when doesn't speak against me. So this is 38 minutes. So the Vineland Police Department, of course, they're criminals. Yes, there's criminal behavior. And people try to sit there and try to claim that criminal behavior of government, unlawful, unjust, unconstitutional behavior of government is political. So they make these claims in regards to why they deceive and manipulate the public, and relate that to that's political, that's like the politician. This is actually not true. That's criminal. You can't sit there and claim, oh, well, a crime is political. That's ridiculous. So the thing is that this is actually what I'm encountering, and the people in my town or whatever, who claim to be very political, maybe patriotic, American, and all these other things or whatever, and they're so far from it. It's unbelievable, unconstitutional, and the thing is that They have like the peace of those who are asleep. Lazy, asleep, living in the lap of luxury, and claiming they are of service, and it's all about money and power. Okay? So, when they sit there and claim, oh, well, they're going to be, they have a right to tranquility, so they don't want to hear my complaint against heinous crimes being committed against me in my own country that I live in, my own city, my own household. Why? Because they say that I am disrupting the peace by speaking against abuse and terrorism, attacks against me by them, and the heinous crimes committed against me by these churches, who these churches think they're just allowed to do whatever they want to do. But desires of their evil heart to unjustly oppress somebody. I only have to oppress anything that oppresses me to oppress back. If they take away my freedom, there's not gonna their freedom, their false freedom is an illusion. They claim their evil, heinous crimes are committing against me is their freedom rights. I'm going to have to do another part because this is over 40 minutes. And I actually am getting into a whole lot of thoughts. I don't know if I'm going to do that tonight or when or whatever. But I'm going to end with that.